In the year 1997, the future is in chaos and turmoil. Mankind is on the brink of extinction. Brave survivors band together and build a time displacement apparatus to receive a signal from a parallel future. This transmission is the Vundacast.
There's one team that kicks ass. They're assembled. They're the Vundacast. Never back down from the brass. Always start first. Never finish last. Had Moxley, been too fast. Oh no, they're out of gas. It's okay there. Just a podcast. They're the greatest. We're the Vundacast.
Welcome to the Vundacast, the official podcast of Vundablog.com, the home of some AEW Dynamite coverage vis-a-vis this podcast you're listening to. I am your host, the always humble, always knowledgeable, always elite, but not with the elite, Steven. And with me today is the number one expert in all of wrestling, a purveyor of wrestling reviews, a master of the English language and divinity.
Whoa.
My co-host, the non-binary wrestling champion of the world, D-Rock.
Woo! Great introduction.
Thank you.
Feel so showered with praise.
Yo, I listened to the last podcast and I'm like, you know what this needs? This needs some hype, you know? This podcast, it needs a little bit of sizzle on that steak.
We need a Justin Roberts.
So I'm here to give it. So we're talking about the TNT AEW Dynamite of April 21st, the day after 420.
Woo!
They had a Dynamite, and they didn't make it a special Dynamite. This is one of the rare Dynamites
Yeah, right.
that isn't a special event. They should have made it like, you know, the 420 hangover, you know, and had like a rumble with everybody that lasted, you know, an hour, fighting for a joint hanging above the ring. But they didn't do that.
No, they didn't.
First off,
They did have a lot of great wrestling.
before we get into the play-by-play, how are you doing, D-Rock?
I'm doing okay. I've got, I got a lot of stuff going on right now, but, I'm doing all right. I'm still kicking.
I just watched the new Mortal Kombat today.
Oh, nice.
It was mildly entertaining, so that's a win. Damn it, I had something else I wanted to say. Oh, so this is totally unrelated to All Elite Wrestling, but I feel that this is important news that everybody who has a platform should share because it's ridiculous. Okay? Do you know the truth about Papa John's?
Oh my God. Is this about the Day of Reckoning?
So remember, Papa John's was blasted in the media that he was a racist, that he had said the N-word on a conference call, and was upset about the protesting in the NFL.
I had no idea about any of this.
That is why he left the company. That is why he got kicked out of the company.
Wow.
That is why he was eating 30 pizzas in a week. And he was saying that the Day of Reckoning would come.
Right.
What he was trying to express was that there was going to be an investigation and that he would be exonerated of being a racist. there was an investigation by a former FBI head, former federal judge
Wow.
in the company. All right, internal investigation. Papa John's was not a racist. Papa John's was clearly speaking in support and against racism. Okay?
Really?
Papa John's did say the N-word, but he was quoting somebody saying the N-word and talking about how disgusting it was.
Wow.
Okay? And that the board of directors used the limited call information and hid the truth about the rest of the call and didn't do anything publicly to get the truth out, thus sending Papa John's pizza stock to plummet by disgracing its founder and hurting the brand. And Papa John's is probably going to sue them for a lot of money or something.
Wow.
So everyone thought he was racist, but turns out he's not racist, even though he's from Kentucky. Can you believe it?
But at the same time, like, that's such an anticlimactic day of reckoning. Like, I was I was hoping for so much more.
He said that the day of reckoning will come when the entire board is off. But 3 people who were a part of that board have died.
Oh shit.
So whatever karmic fate was coming,
right,
they at least caught some of it early.
Oh
so with that vital piece of breaking news, which happened in December, breaking news.
Right, yeah, we're up on things.
Papa John's exonerated. Now, AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, let's light the fuse. Come on, let's go.
I thought that was important. This is a huge AEW Dynamite, main evented by Darby Allin and Jungle Boy for the TNT Championship. We have a promo by the Inner Circle, promos by the Pinnacle.
Some great matches.
Versus Starks. Christian Cage versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Billy Gunn and QT. Trent ? Versus Penta. El Zero Miedo. This is on paper, to me at least, underwhelming Dynamite.
Yeah, I would say if I looked at this card, I mean, Hangman Page and Ricky Starks is a pretty exciting match.
Yeah, that's a very exciting matchup. We've never seen them lock.
Sheeta and Tay Conti, it's pretty exciting.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like it's looking at it on paper, it's not like a stacked card or anything, especially compared to some of the cards they've had on other Dynamites, the ones that had branding,
So what did we start off with?
The first match was Hangman Page and Ricky Starks, which was really fucking good. It was. I think we both agreed that when we were watching this, that this could easily headline a major pay-per-view. They fucking. I mean, right out of the gate, they were. It was fast-paced. They had great chemistry together. It was really, really good. I was very impressed.
Yeah, it's definitely the type of match that, is going to be an even bigger rematch in the future.
For sure.
They're definitely two very much on the same level in that they're both on the rising ladder of the card and fame in AEW.
Sure. Dangerous spot right here for both.
Let's see a little bit of the match here.
Athletes. You're not kidding. Extremely dangerous territory. Hangman. No. Oh, the fall away slam avalanche style off off the top rope.
This will probably be like, I don't want to write the history book, but their bodies are so fresh right now.
Yeah, they're young. They're both real young. I mean, just the fact that I forget what the spot was, but there was that one part where Ricky Starks like literally landed on both his neck and his feet somehow, and I couldn't believe he wasn't injured, or at least he didn't seem to be, and apparently wasn't. I just read online that he actually was not hurt by that at all, and which is amazing. And I couldn't believe he even was finishing the match, and the match was excellent even after that. So yeah, I would love to see these two guys have like a big program together sometime in the future. They both have so much potential. They're both still so young. I mean, the sky's the limit, I think.
With the storyline they have going on now with sort of Ricky Starks being put against Brian Cage, it seems.
Right.
It would be interesting to see Ricky Starks take over this faction out from under Brian Cage.
Yeah, because it definitely seems like they're heading in the direction of Cage kind of wanting to distance himself from Team Taz. Because what is it really doing for him right now? Like he's kind of, fighting everyone's battles for them to some extent. And like, he doesn't need these people.
Yeah, we talked about on previous episodes how, they're really not doing anything with the FTW championship.
Right.
And it would be cool at least to see Starks and Cage wrestle for it.
Well, yeah, and also like, next week they have Hangman Page going against Brian Cage. And so, I mean, Page is the number one ranked singles wrestler in the AEW right now. Why shouldn't Cage be forced to put the belt on the line, Yeah. Well, I mean, the answer is that it's not a sanctioned belt, obviously, but like he should put it on the line.
Let's see how Taz finished up this match.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Hangman! Hangman! Hey, Hangman! Page! Hangman!
Page!
Hey, dummy, I'm over here! Look at me!
Dummy.
You got lucky. You're the number one ranked wrestler here. I know your toughness, but you just got lucky, my friend. What you need to do is worry about watching your back. And what I'm saying is really watching your back. Yeah. Oh,
Like right now, watching your back.
Yeah, like right. I really can't be any more explicit about this.
Intending to hurt the knee of Hangman Page.
They just clubbing it now.
Dark Order, what are you doing? Having coffee?
Hangman with the high boot to the face of Hook. And now Hangman trying to overcome the odds. And the machine, Brian Cage.
Yeah, I mean, it only makes sense for so long.
Champion
Like,
Brian Cage.
shouldn't they be expecting this?
This is really no man's land for Hangman and Page, guys.
A 3-on-1 beatdown by
There they are.
Dark Order.
Brian Cage was too slow. He didn't get a move in.
Right.
The failure to Team Taz.
And Team Taz must regroup.
Yeah, he doesn't care that much. He's like, whatever, I'll powerbomb this guy, I guess.
It was all planned that if something would go wrong, that would happen.
I like it. And Brian Cage versus Hangman Page
That'll be really good.
promises to be a very good match.
That'll be a really
it was
good
a great
match.
opening to the show,
Yeah.
which
Definitely.
Hangman Page always does.
Yeah, he's a good. They've used him in the opener a few times, I feel like, and he's always good for a jolt.
And I just want to say, for accreditation, all of our clips come from the All Elite Wrestling YouTube page.
Yeah. So this is public record.
Yeah, suck it. Suck it, public. Boom.
I think the next match the next thing was the Penta versus Trent match. Or Trent? Which is that's so dumb, but I'm fine with it, I guess.
It was very weird to see Alex Cervantes come out with Penta for this match. Like, I don't mind him being the translator in like interviews backstage and stuff, but I don't want to see an announcer become, a full-on manager.
Yeah, I think it would be a different story if he did anything at all while he was out there. I can't remember. I don't think he did anything.
He interferes with the end of this match. We're going to see here.
Does he? Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah. I mean, in that case, as long as there's a purpose to it, I'm okay with it.
Penta looked extra badass tonight, dressed up like Batman with a Batman-like
cool.
mask.
That was very cool.
But I miss the Penta that we used to watch in Lucha Underground. The Penta who would just destroy people, who could win clean, who didn't have to cheat to win. I like that Penta.
Yeah, I do. I mean, yeah, I miss a lot of things about Lucha Underground, and this show, especially Dynamite, reminds me of a lot of things that I miss about Lucha Underground. And one of the biggest ones is that super, super badass Pentagon Junior, or then Pentagon Dark. Which is one of the great things about Lucha, right? Like, the wrestlers were always like constantly like leveling up, and evolving, and I feel like that's something that you don't see enough in wrestling, like evolution and character development on that level.
So let's see the moment that Alex interferes in the match here.
We saw during the break, Trent went for one, he missed. He only got the
Trent. Hold on. Trent. Penta actually, he wanted me to relay a message to you before the match. Penta says that you suck, your friends suck, and you know who sucks the most? Your mama sucks!
What the hell? Lord, Alex, what's wrong with you?
Not Sue.
What the hell? Anytime anybody brings Sue into the equation,
that's dirty.
Look at Alex running like a scalded dog. Get that chair, Ref.
So Trent gets up on the apron with a chair.
Alex.
Rich Knox tries to control him.
Who's in the ring behind Orange Cassidy?
Yeah.
Blindside shot there by
Penta.
Swinging a miss by Trent. Microphone between the eyes. Alex over
trying to care for someone who is not in the match right now.
Yeah. Classic. And Penta wins by cheating.
Right.
By nefarious nature.
Like, Lucha Penta would cheat, but not like that. Like, if he was gonna cheat, he would just like kick a dude in the nuts, like straight up. He would just be like,
cheat
"Fuck
to
you."
be violence,
Right? Exactly.
Not to just be a petty. I don't know.
Yeah, he was a violent dick, but like in a cool way.
That's what they all think. What was after this?
The next up, I believe, is the Pinnacle.
The Pineapple.
The Pineapple, yeah.
So they were trying to recreate some of the magic that JR had in the Attitude Era with having a sit-down interview.
Yeah.
With, superstars. But I feel it's, it automatically, it takes me out of it because this is a sit-down interview with 5 grown men. Like, this is 6 people on camera trying to have an interview. This is inherently not going to work.
Well, and like only Wardlow and MJF talk, right? Like, I don't think anybody else says anything.
Let's see what they have in this 4-minute clip here. I felt like this went on longer than 4 minutes, but let's see if it did, because 4 minutes doesn't seem like a lot, but in a bad promo, it does.
The world is buzzing as we count down the days to Blood and Guts. With that in mind, recently, in the middle of the ring, Chris Jericho with the Inner Circle had some very fiery words to say. Many of them pointed out, not only all you guys, but especially you, MJF. What's your reaction to Jericho's interview that we heard on Dynamite just a few weeks ago?
It wasn't just an interview, Jim. I recall you called it the immortal promo, correct? Huh. Chris, you might have got one thing right about the scarf. Well, not about the fact that I, quote-unquote, stole it from you. I've been rocking Burberry flannel since I was on the Rosie O'Donnell show, but this particular scarf, man, I mean, it's old, it's haggard. Plus, it's springtime, and War Dog, you know what that means. I believe Tully got me a gift. By the way, Tully is home right now, writing up the plays for Blood and Guts.
He certainly did. Tully said...
Already, we're 55 minutes in.
Seconds.
55 seconds, sorry. It felt like 55 minutes. To me, at least. There's been zero heat for the match. 55 seconds in.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just been, let me talk about my scarf.
Yeah.
Oh, that it's silk season, Max.
Thank you, sir.
This thing.
It's so, see, it's just, oh, God. I love it. I'll take it from
It's
here,
like a
baby.
scene out of a John Wayne movie. Almost.
Thank you for trying to save it, JR, but it's not.
Chris Jericho.
Well, this is like a very Horseman kind of thing, though.
Promo.
Something like that, big fella.
Wouldn't that mean it was the perfect promo? You see, it almost was. Jericho, one of the best promos in the game, right? Not quite as good as Max here, but good. You cut one of the best promos of your entire career, which is saying a hell of a lot.
What?
Until you got to me.
It's really boring.
A little when you got to me, didn't you, Chris?
What?
Because the moment Wardlow came out of your mouth,
what?
You knew you were doing something wrong.
Chris Jericho, the first ever AEW World Champion, the most charismatic.
So
man.
all he said there was, Chris Jericho, you're really, really good, but you weren't good, and I am Wardlow.
He basically, it was like, basically like, you cut great promos and you cut a great promo last week, but you shouldn't have talked about me.
Yes, exactly.
Because I'm Wardlow.
Because I am Wardlow.
Professional wrestling for decades. The GOAT. The man who's been leading this industry, Jim, for years. That is, until now. Now, you stand in front of a bunch of B's so you look like an A, you wrestle a bunch of A's so you don't look like a B, and when it comes to elevating the talent around you, Christopher, I'm gonna have to give you a big fat F. The Jericho rub.
I think the problem with this promo from MJF is that he's not in front of a live crowd. So his lines are good, but like there's no pause, there's no break, like there's not that interaction that he gets when he has a good promo with a crowd. That to me, it's falling flat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Intentionally trying to wrestle against people the fans already want to see, and then claiming their popularity is all because of you. Just gonna throw some examples out there. I don't know. Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, Cody Rhodes, John Moxley, Orange Cassidy, and now, what? Smart, Chris. I don't blame you. And of course it's smart. For 30 years, you've been outsmarting every single person who's crossed your path. That is, till you met me. I'm the one guy you couldn't outsmart. I'm the one guy you couldn't hold underneath your thumb. And why is that? It's because I'm Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And I'm not great for 25. No, actually, Chris, that's horseshit! I'm great, period. When you were 25, you were curtain jerking on Worldwide. Me, I'm a top guy, and I'm hanging around top guys. We are the best faction in professional wrestling today. The pinnacle, not the inner circle. And we are also all winners. Speaking of winners, I am undefeated, which is why I found it oh so peculiar, Christopher, when you claim that I shouldn't say I'm better than anyone until I can prove I'm better than the likes of Brandon Cutler or perhaps Michael Nakazawa, right? Yeah, that's interesting, Chris, because if my memory serves me correctly, I already beat you. So interesting. Well, wonder where that puts me on the totem pole, huh, bud? I guess that would make me better than you, and you know it. But how about you prove me wrong, Chris? Instead of sending out that stooge of yours, Mike Tyson, to sucker punch my brothers in arms, You send out your family, I send out mine, and you beat us. And Chris, for the sake of pride and pride alone, please try to beat me, because Lord knows I'm going to be trying to do the same. Because if you got one thing right in that cute little immortal promo of yours, it's that I am a mark. But I'm not a mark for you. No, I'm a mark for your spot. And on May 5th at Blood and Guts, along with my family, I'm gonna take it. Because when you are in the pinnacle, you're always on top.
I don't like it.
It wasn't. I mean, it was fine. It was a fine, wrestling interview segment. It didn't really accomplish much. There were some good lines from MJF, and he was, he's always a good promo, but it didn't really add much of anything to the story or the angle or the match or anything. It just kind of existed to have these guys talk on TV.
So if I were booking the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle, first of all, the Inner Circle would have never jumped them from the bathroom, beat the shit out of them, done all that stuff.
Yeah.
But in the build-up to Blood and Guts, all the 10 members of these two factions would have matches every week to show that they're good wrestlers to build toward this feud.
Not against each other, though.
Not against each other, but against other people.
Because that's what WWE used to do. Like, every time if there was a 5-on-5 match, you better believe that every combination of 2 or 3 of the 5 guys on each team would have a match every week until no one cared about seeing them 5-on-5 anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point about having them at least be in the ring to, like, remind people, hey, these guys wrestle. They don't just talk all the time. And they're really good at wrestling.
The last time the Pinnacle wrestled, they had just established the Pinnacle. And they haven't wrestled since, at least not on AEW Dynamite.
Right.
I don't know if maybe they wrestled on Dark or Elevation. I don't know.
Yeah, the Revival I haven't seen that, like, I can't remember the last time Jake Hager got in the ring. Or Sammy Guevara. When was the last time Sammy Guevara had a match?
The last time I saw Hager go one-on-one was versus Wardlow.
Right? Yeah.
Which
I feel like that's the last time we saw Wardlow wrestle on all. And it was a really good match. I don't understand why those guys are. I mean, there's something to be said for, saving certain guys for a special occasion. Jake Hager's probably ranks among those guys as like a former MMA guy, and he's kind of an attraction, But Wardlow should be working. I mean, he's been improving so much. I don't know if he works on Dark, because I don't have that much time in my week to watch fucking like 5 hours of wrestling a week, but yeah.
Yeah, I want to see Wardlow do some more Wardlowing.
Mm-hmm.
And less Ward talking.
Yeah, and like I'm trying to think if any guys in either of those factions. I mean, Spears hasn't had a match. God,
he was in the triple. The last time was Spears, Dax, and FTR.
Yeah. Okay.
Versus whoever it was, which was like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I guess it would have been Santana and Ortiz and somebody else. I don't know.
No. It was, I think maybe it was Cutler. Let me see.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's Yeah. Anyway, so we're kind of dwelling on it, but yes, it's been a really long time since any of these guys have had any matches. Really long for some guys.
What came next?
I believe next up was Hikaru Shida versus Tay Conti for the AEW
It
Women's
was
Championship.
March 24th. And back to that. And it was Cash, Dax, and Sean Spears versus Pillman, Garrison, and Dante Martin.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, that was a really long time ago.
But that was a month ago. Come on.
Right. And I think it's been longer than that since we've seen anybody in the inner circle wrestle.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the last one I remember was when Santana and Ortiz were
versus the Young Bucks.
Right. Yeah. When
right
they had
before
the title
the Revolution.
Shot. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a while ago.
Crazy. So what was next? Sorry.
So yeah, the women's championship match, another really fucking good match. This, man, I hesitate to say that this was the best match of the night because Paige and Starks was also really good, and the main event was also really good. But this was a really freaking good match. Really hard hitting, a lot of really creative, really brutal spots. Really good psychology. They work really good together. And Tay Conti did a really great job, I think, of like seeming like she could believably beat Hikaru Shida. She's kind of undersized, and Shida's such a killer. But with her judo, and she had a really amazing like flurry of moves in the middle of the match. She had that great explosion out of the superplex where she like hit the super kick and then went straight down. She was really good. It was a really great match.
Yeah, I think this match is a good example of how good Shida is at elevating the people that she wrestles against.
Definitely.
Because I've seen a lot of Tay Conti's matches, and this is the best that she's ever performed on AEW Dynamite.
I can remember at least one match that she had recently that I was very impressed with
Nyla?
Damn, I can't remember. She's had a couple of matches that I was impressed by recently, but yeah, I mean, they did a really good job of making her look like a legitimate threat in this match, and also, they made each other look really good too.
Yeah, and it delivered in an AEW match in a way that, it didn't need a lot of flips and tope suicidas.
Right.
And the other hallmarks of AEW matches. There was grappling, there was, lockups, there was exchanges, there were some vicious knee strikes. It was, it was a well-balanced wrestling meal.
Yeah. I like what they've done with Tay Conti's sort of wrestling style. How they've put over, her use of like judo and using people's momentum against them and stuff like that, because she's such an undersized wrestler, that really works in her favor really well.
Any other thoughts on this match?
Well,
it was,
there was also the post-match stuff with Britt Baker was really good too, where she comes out and kind of has the graphics people kind of had her shit ready for her, and she points up and becomes the number one contender because Tay Conti just lost.
Let's take a look at that moment.
Intense. Hey, this is not going to be the last time that Tay Conti is going to compete for a title. I can promise you.
What is this? Dr. Britt Baker,
the wrestling dentist.
The number 2 ranked Dr. Britt Baker.
She may not be now. She may be moving up. Who knows? That's her goal.
She has said that this ranking system, AEW. Uh-oh. Well,
that was quick.
Britt Baker getting a little assistance from the graphics department, and we could see.
Oh. I thought Britt was going to play the role of a javelin catcher.
We could be seeing.
This was cool, and I'd like to see them keep on doing this in the future with this ranking system. And sort of sell the ranking system more.
Yeah, I think I remember when they first announced the ranking system, I was a little worried that people were going to take it a little too seriously, which I was kind of right about, because people have to realize that this is a scripted wrestling show, and they can't solely rely on the rankings to book their matches, because they're going to paint themselves into a lot of corners that way. And it has to be used as like one way of determining, who should get the next title shot, who's in what position and why and stuff like that. So I like anytime they focus on it more, but they can't focus on it too much, or else they'll just hamstring themselves. But I liked what they did with it here. And I think, Britt Baker clearly has all the momentum in the women's division, and it seems like this has got to be her time, because like after the unsanctioned match with Thunder Rosa,
which she lost,
yeah, but that's the thing, man. Like, especially with a match like that, you don't have to win a match like that to come out as the person who is the most over with the crowd. She had that great visual of her busted face, and she went through hell in that match. And she's been improving so much week to week. Every week she gets better on the mic, she gets better in the ring, and it's been like obvious. Like, you can't miss how much she's improving every week. And this just feels like her time,
Yeah. The stink of the tooth and nail match has worn off sufficiently.
Yeah.
The musk of the unsanctioned match.
Man, I forgot about the tooth and nail match.
Thank God. It was horrible.
That was a fucking weird. Oh, man.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
What was next on the great show?
So next up we have the very short Miro promo, which I couldn't find on YouTube, unfortunately, but it was another week of, well, Kip Sabian's still not around, so I guess I'm just gonna fucking murder whoever is in my path now. And, he finally is starting to get to be, and
well, it was an exciting Miro promo because he actually mentioned the championships.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, people have been complaining so much about how he got shuffled into a mid-card spot when he came in, and it's like, people have, I get why people, AEW fans are people who have been begrudgingly watching WWE for years because there was nothing else, and complaining about it and complaining about all the things that are so bad about it. And one of the things that WWE's kind of conditioned us to do is not really have any patience when a guy we like gets put in a mid-card spot or whatever. But they did that for a reason. First of all, he elevated Kip. And when Kip comes back, they're going to have a great match, and that's going to elevate Kip even more. Not only that, but he gets room to breathe in the mid-card and develop a character, develop a sense of humor to his character, develop all these different things that he wouldn't be able to do if he just immediately got put into the AEW title picture. And then they get to build him up. as a threat for a title. And it seems like the logical next step for him is that he's probably going to literally eat Darby Allin on national television and take the TNT title, because he said that thing about what champion do I beat first? And it's like, it couldn't be clearer without being in any way clear that the first step is him taking the TNT title.
Well, I don't think it was that clear.
Really?
Because Lance Archer is positioned now with the TNT title.
That's true.
So it's kind of, for me at least, it's already messy there.
It is.
Although I do think that's organically the match that at least, I could see on the AEW Dynamite. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Miro versus Kenny Omega, that's a pay-per-view match.
Yeah. Miro versus Archer is also that's like a pay-per-view main event. Both of those are pay-per-view main events. I think the thing that makes me think it's obvious is like when he says, "What champion do I beat first?" He's not gonna beat the world champion first. You got to take these things in steps. He's gonna do the TNT title first, and then he goes for the world title. That's where I was kind of going with that. But that doesn't mean he's actually going to do it.
Well, that means that you're assuming that the TNT champion is on a lesser level than the AEW World's champion.
That's fair.
They're both equal champions.
That's kind of the impulse that people have to see the TNT title as sort of a mid-card title. But it's just, I think it's, I don't think AEW does enough to discourage people from thinking that. I think they need more of a sort of concerted effort to remind people like the TNT title is the title for Dynamite, gets defended on Dynamite. It's the TV title. And the world title is more the like pay-per-view title, and they're not necessarily one's not necessarily above the other. Although of course everybody wants the world title, most of all probably, but they're not necessarily, the TNT title is not and should be portrayed as not being just a mid-card title.
Speaking of championships, did you hear about the Josh fight?
Oh, I saw something on Twitter about it.
Today, as we're recording April 24th, apparently a bunch of Joshes met in a field and battled with pool noodles for the name Josh. A champion emerged, a 4-year-old named Josh.
Wow.
And he was awarded an AEW championship and a Burger King crown.
Whoa.
As the king of all Joshes.
That's pretty amazing. Cinderella story, man.
So the AEW World Championship at least holds weight in the Josh community.
That's not surprising that Joshes are really into AEW.
What was next on the big show?
Next up was the Inner Circle promo, which was also not very good.
If the last Inner Circle promo was immortal,
this one was very much mortal.
This one was born terminally ill. Just reeks of mortality.
Yes.
The pinnacle, I just heard the Inner Circle squad as loud as you could be on a Wednesday night, baby!
And they get the benefit of the crowd, too. It's still bad.
They have the crowd advantage.
There's a lot of energy here tonight, Tony, and I'll tell you the reason why. Because like you said, May 5th, right here in Jacksonville, it's blood and guts for the first time ever in AEW. It's going to be one of the most violent and brutal matches ever seen on the TNT network that's going to leave a trail of tears that goes all the way to the front door of the Pineapple. Front door of the Pinnacle.
Can we
that
not?
Trail of Tears started last week.
What, not use the Trail of Tears?
Can we not call things Trail of Tears? Like, I get that most people don't know what that means, but for the ones that do, it's so offensive. So offensive. The Trail of Tears is the most brutal, disgusting thing that this country maybe has ever done. And can we just not?
He's a Canadian American. Maybe he doesn't know the rich history.
Well, then, if you don't know the history, then definitely don't use the phrase.
When honorary Inner Circle member Iron Mike Tyson knocked Cash Wheeler's teeth straight down his throat. It probably caused him to have his jaw wired shut so he could eat his dinner. That's right.
What?
That caused him to probably have his jaw wired shut so that he could eat dinner.
So that he could eat his dinner.
Nailed it.
Wow. Genius.
Kristen, we got a present for you, Cash. As a matter of fact, we got a present for all of you. Because when we get done, you're going to be sucking your own meat through a straw for a month. You suck!
Wait, sucking your own meat?
Suck your own meat
through a straw?
You'd be giving yourself fellatio through a straw from McDonald's.
Oh my god.
I take it back. At least Jake Hager's part of this promo is immortal.
Yeah.
You got it, Jake. How do you say straw in Spanish, Sammy?
El Lestrolala.
Nailed it. But the thing is, I want to know is we watched the little Inner Circle, little Pinnacle sit down with Jim Ross earlier, but none of them ever say anything. I mean, MJF is always yakking, and Wardlow says something, but I couldn't pay attention. I was too busy looking at his stupid manicured eyebrows.
That's true. They didn't say anything.
They're like a bunch of mutes.
No, actually, Chris, if my memory serves me well, since day one that they walked into this place, right? They've been name dropping. They've been calling us out, saying that they want to wrestle the best. But then they wait till they have a crew behind them to then step to us, which I must say is smart on your part.
Yeah.
But where we come from, we call those bitch moves.
You have a crew. What are you talking
now,
about?
Boys, we saw the color of your blood. But come May 5th, we're gonna see the size of your heart.
Well, Santana's right.
Santana gives a great promo. But I don't know if he's a certified cardiologist.
Been talking behind our backs, but MJF never stops talking. Yakety, 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 yak. But I never feel there's any conviction in the words he's saying. I still feel like he thinks he's delivering lines in his high school drama class that his teacher gave him out of a script. I don't feel what he's thinking. I don't feel what he's saying. I still think he thinks that he's singing show tunes on Rosie O'Donnell, which he was great at, but you know what? I sing show tunes too. You know, as a matter of fact, I wrote a show tune about my jerk-off friend tonight. You want to hear it?
Oh no. This is so bad.
You sure you want to hear it? All right. His name is Little Jacob Friedman Max. His head looks like a troll, and that's a fact. He's such a dipshit, and you know it's true. I shoved his head down the toilet and flushed it down. I gave him a swirly.
Is that part of the song?
he like paused for a second and was trying to think of a better lyric.
Right.
And
it gave him a swirly.
And he went with that. Oh my
God. He by the way, he's also not saying anything.
Nope.
And I'll tell you something else. That new silk scarf of yours, MJF, I washed my ass with it before Tully gave it to you.
Oh, that's like a 3rd grade burn.
That's a Vince joke.
So the bottom line is this. It's fun to make jokes about the Pinnacle. It's fun to make jokes about my jerk-off friend. But Blood and Guts, May 5th, is going to be a lesson in violence that you never forget.
Now's the part where I
what
yell.
Exactly are the rules for Blood and Guts? It's the first time ever. Well, I'm sick of cutting promos out here while you're in the back. So next week, face to face, it's going to be the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle having an old-fashioned parlay. A parlay is when 2 opposing armies meet in the ring and discuss battle plans. But here's my battle plan for you, MJF. I don't have to wait till next week. I want to say this really kind so you can hear me. At Blood and Guts, MJF, I am going to beat the living hell out of you. You understand me? And if you think that's a line from drama class Oliver Twist, think again, because we are crazier than you, and you know it. And like I said, the worst is yet to come. May 5th at Blood and Guts, and God help you, he better own your soul, because on May 5th at Blood and Guts, the Inner Circle owns your ass.
Wow. He better own your soul?
I always love whenever a wrestler gets that really quiet, intense voice, just to say something like, I'm going to beat you up so bad. It's like, what? No, if you're going to do that, you got to like, I'm going to rip your fucking head off and spit down your throat or something like that. You know, like, I'm going to beat the living hell out of you. We've heard that exact phrase from like 1,000 different wrestlers in the last like year, probably.
Jericho's mortal.
Yes,
Santana.
Jericho, still a mortal person, mortal human being.
Santana and Hager. Good job.
Yeah, Hager was the star of the promo for sure. Because he wants you to suck your own meat through a straw.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So next up was QT Marshall and Billy Gunn, which on paper not that exciting.
No, not that exciting. It's interesting because of, you know, the new faction, the Factory.
Right.
Seeing how they play out.
Which is the whole reason why this exists. And, you know, so that part of it is really fun. And, you know, which it should be, because that's what they focused on.
I think it's, you know, I don't really get it. Like, at least the Nightmare Family wise. Like, what does it really mean to be in the Nightmare Family now?
Yeah, it seems kind of loosely grouped together at this point.
Like, we really need to see the Gun Club and Red Velvet and Cody, like, in a place together, being a faction.
Right.
For me to take them seriously as a faction.
Yeah, they don't really, you know, do a lot together. You know, this week what we got was the closest thing we've gotten in a little while, I feel like, with Dustin coming out, and, you know, which was cool. I like that. You know, I liked his new face paint. I like that he came out with the cowbell. That was cool. This whole thing is kind of it's very like old school NWA sort of in a lot of ways.
But being in a faction should be more than just like saving each other. Like,
right.
You know?
You should be, like the Dark Order, man. They're always hanging out and doing fun stuff together. I want to be part of the Dark Order, you know?
Or even something about their presentation should
Right.
at least be cohesive with each other, you know?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
I like how they're using Anthony Ogogo's punch or gut punch
Mm-hmm.
as like this devastating finishing maneuver that he can unleash on people.
Well, because I
think
mean,
that's smart.
he's he was, I think it was like an Olympic boxer, right? And like supposedly he's actually done that to people, like where he like body shot somebody and like they go down. So that's something that's based on reality. Like he actually does that. So that's pretty cool.
Interesting. I like Dustin when he came in for the save. He has like a new sort of like jokery looking face paint.
Yeah, I like the bottom half instead of like the right or left half is a cool look too.
I think that he realized that Darby and Thunder Rosa have the halves of the face covered, and maybe they'll go a
Right.
different
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah. Too many half faces. And go for a mouth transformation. And it almost looks like a mask a little bit, except like a really good mask.
Yeah.
That would be a cool COVID mask for them to come out with. I'm sure they've already got that in production.
And then they do a chair spot, but not with a usual metal chair.
That was really old school too. The wooden chair. That's very like 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was
There's
pretty cool.
like, the legendary. Yeah. There's that legendary match between Tully and Magnum TA in the cage, the I Quit match, where the finish of the match is like I think it's Tully's manager or like woman that he's with. I can't remember her name. She like throws a chair into the ring over the cage, and it like breaks. And Magnum TA ends up using one of the splintered pieces of the chair to like jam it into his face to get him to give up.
Badass.
Yeah, it's a great match. It's from the fabled Starrcade 85 pay-per-view, which is like just like one of the bloodiest pay-per-views there's ever been. So definitely worth checking out.
So Nick Comoroto takes the wooden chair to the head and isn't
that was
fazed
super
by
cool.
it. It's almost as if it has powered him up even more.
That was a super cool spot. Just to see him, like, he didn't even move. Like, the chair didn't even knock him back. He was like a statue being hit with a chair. It was really cool.
And then a bunch of refs come to break everything up. Which, we've seen assassinations happen on Dynamite and refs don't show up.
Yeah, right.
But a wooden chair has been broken.
Yeah.
Call in the refs. Insane.
Oh man. Okay, so the next thing was the trailer, the Elite trailer, promo / Stone Cold-esque car crash.
So let's see what clip they put online here. This also was a segment that started off kind of rough and felt like it was taking forever to get anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, we good? All right, buddy.
All right, let's make a little history. I love history.
He was on purpose,
And I can tell you, as a student of history, there's never been an assemblage of talent like we got here. You got the Good Brothers. You got the Young Bucks. My God, it's good to be here with you. And you got Kenny, by God, Omega, the AEW World Champion, the AAA Mega Champion, and Kenny, soon to be the Impact World
You're too kind. You're too kind.
My God, tell him that.
This group of individuals is the reason why business went up in Japan. This group of individuals is the reason why there is a world-famous T-shirt sold in retail stores in America.
If you're flipping through the channels, going through TNT, and you arrive at this second of the show, and Matt Jackson says that they are the reason that business went up in Japan, you have to believe that he has affected the Japanese economy on a global scale. What the hell is he talking about? He doesn't even say New Japan Wrestling.
I don't think he can.
You can't?
Maybe no, that doesn't make any sense.
But it's just like, like, why? First of all, we know you all work together in Japan.
Yeah.
Who cares? At this point, who cares how much you affected the business there?
I mean,
you're the current AEW Tag Team World Champion. Isn't that something you should be proud of right now?
I think most people that watch AEW do care about Japan. I think that line is definitely catered to their audience in a way. I wasn't that bothered by it. I mean, I think it can only add to their characters to, play up their achievements in Japan and everywhere else that they've been. They brought up the fact that Kenny Omega is the AAA champion also, so and they could easily bring up the fact that the Young Bucks were AAA tag team champions. So I wasn't bothered by it.
If they mention those things in these specific ways, I'd be cool with it. But just vaguely saying that you affected the economy of Japan does not do it for me.
I don't think that's quite what he was trying to say, but
I will misconstrue his words however I desire to.
I mean, I don't think he chose his words that carefully in saying we're the reason that business went up. He's trying to be pithy, they're trying to, get everything in. He doesn't want to, it would take him much longer to say we are the reason that New Japan Pro Wrestling experienced a resurgence. He's probably not,
He'll never say resurgence. I'm sure of it.
Right.
Visuals is the reason why there is a world-famous T-shirt sold in retail stores in America. That's us. This group of individuals are the people that sparked the movement that created the revolution called All Elite Wrestling.
Guys, it's not called All Moxley Kingston Wrestling, is it?
Oh, that was awesome. That's awesome. Well, guys, I actually heard they're back tonight.
Oh, they're back? No.
We should be worried, right?
How's your boo-boo doing, Eddie? Hey, guys, you know exactly where we are. How about you come find us, son? Knock on our door.
We're waiting for you.
Good point. Yeah, come on, guys. Come on, tough guys.
Hey, look. I'm gonna be a little bit serious now, if you don't mind.
Your glasses are off. Trouble.
Take your time.
All you people that hate the elite, hate what we stand for, hate what we're all about, think we're maybe a bunch of egomaniacs. Well, I got news for you. It's pissing me off. You hear it? You hear that?
So this was obviously filmed on like a different day.
Hey. I love the fact that
you see the thing that really pisses you guys off.
Like 10 seconds ago, they were saying, "Come find us," and then when somebody's honking outside, they're like, "What the fuck is this? What's going on? I don't understand."
Can we call it security?
We're in this. Dude, Gallus, what is out there?
Noise.
Hey guys.
Who's honking the damn horn?
What is out there?
I love that Gallows is going to look, but Gallows is wearing sunglasses at night.
What is out there? Omega says. What could be making that car horn
right now?
Could someone go out there and just tell this guy to shut up?
Tell Nakazawa to get out there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So the elites part of this segment is over now.
Right.
That was their part of the segment, which looked like it was filmed in advance.
Right. Yeah. This was weird.
they didn't really sell the match the same week at Rebellion, Rich Swann versus Kenny Omega. Didn't really sell it on Dynamite. They just said he's going to be Impact Champion.
Right.
I'm disappointed in AEW for this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they definitely could have done a better job. That's another thing that makes me think like probably nothing's going to happen like if one of them was going to take the other's title, you'd think that AEW would be promoting this a lot more. So yeah, I just can't imagine anything of consequence is going to happen tomorrow night.
I just think the most likely thing to happen is Kenny Omega's going to win it.
I think the most likely thing to happen is that neither of them is going to drop their title. That doesn't mean that neither of them will win. There might be a disqualification or who knows. But I really don't think, the fact that AEW seems to not care at all that this match is happening kind of makes me think that nothing interesting is going to happen. So otherwise, I mean, if something interesting was going to happen, they would want you to watch that. They would go out of their way to make sure that you watch it.
I think Kenny Omega's going to win, and he's going to have the Impact Championship. And it's just going to be something else for him to walk around with. That's what I think.
I think that's definitely more likely than Rich Swann winning, obviously.
Which that's the outcome I would want.
Really?
Yeah. I think it would be shocking. No one would see it coming. It would give AEW fans a higher incentive to watch Impact like they never had before.
That's true.
It would immediately introduce a new character into AEW in the biggest way possible. This is me assuming that he's going to appear on both shows every week.
I mean, if he won the title, he would that would be something they would have worked out in advance. Like he would be appearing on both shows.
And let's say he wins it on Sunday, right? Who's to say at Blood and Guts they can't have an AEW championship match on Dynamite and Rich Swann drops it? You know what I mean? Like,
well, one thing I read somewhere that supposedly for the Blood and Guts episode, there aren't going to be any other live matches.
Whoa.
That it's just going to be Blood and Guts and probably a bunch of pre-taped segments. So this match is going to be, I guess it'll take up like a full hour at least if it's going to be that much of the show.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's what I was hearing, but we'll see what happens because I don't know how they would do that.
Yeah.
Like if the match is just going to be like, last throughout the whole episode with like cut-ins, or if all this pre-tape stuff is going to be at the beginning or something. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens. So like if Rich Swann wins the AEW title, I wouldn't be surprised if he gave it right back like a few days later on Dynamite.
Yeah. And you could do something. You could have a swerve,
Yeah.
Because if Rich Swann wins, right? Although Kenny Omega might have a rematch clause, wouldn't he have to face a number one contender?
Kenny?
No, I'm saying Rich Swann.
Rich Swann. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's...
So everyone could be thinking that they're building to Hangman.
They don't...
Omega.
Yeah.
And you could have a swerve and see Hangman beat Rich Swann and be champion.
Yeah, I don't think they have rematch clauses in AEW, so that would be interesting. I don't know if they do in Impact, though. That's another thing that could happen is like, Kenny wins tomorrow and then Rich Swann shows up on Wednesday and challenges him for the belt back and wins it back.
On Dynamite. That would be great.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be cool. All right, let's watch the end of this segment with Moxley King.
At the wheel. Didn't they say come get him? John Moxley and Eddie Kingston just broadsided the Elite's trailer.
You got the pipe?
Got the pipe.
You got the pipe?
Oh boy.
It's a game. You think this is a game?
Young Jackson boy.
You think we're just gonna play with you?
Jackson boy.
Come on, where you at?
Jackson boys.
Where you at? Where you at?
I hate that the camera caught that, like, there's clearly no lights on in this trailer.
Yeah.
It's clearly an empty trailer and not the trailer they were just in. Like,
it makes it so confusing because, like, you know, when the camera catches that makes you think, oh, this is a decoy, like they were never in there. But then when they come back out, they're talking about, oh, they must have picked up and left. And it's like, first of all, how? And second of all, they turned off the lights before they left? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they broke the illusion of their own.
Yeah, big time.
Yo,
not even in there.
Where you?
They're not even in here. Jackson boys.
Where you at?
Jackson boys. What, they take their goddamn socks with them too?
Kingston and
Jackson
Moxley
boys.
just tearing apart the Elite's trailer.
I don't think they really wanted to play games.
Omega and the Bucks have run for it. Yeah, the Elite's
sneakers. I told you stop stealing people's sneakers. I don't think you really wanted to play games.
Over here.
I don't think they really wanted to play games.
They don't want none of this, dog.
I think it got a little too real for them. Where did they go? Where did they go?
Yo!
Where did they go?
Y'all cowards, B.
No,
Y'all cowards, man.
Bitch. AF. We ain't got nothing to worry about.
Nah, we good.
Nah, they're done. They're done. Let's get back in the car.
Yeah, no doubt. I need a steak or something, man. Come on, B.
JR, I think you could. Oh my God.
You want to wait till I'm out the way?
Your term scalded dog comes into mind here, doesn't it? Yeah.
Jeez, I love you, but come on.
If Trent and QT are the best friends, Moxley and Kingston have to be the worst friends.
Trent and QT?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just say Trent and QT?
Yeah, you did.
Oh my God. What's wrong with me? Delete that, Steven. No, I meant Trent and Chuck T.
Chuck T, yes. I see where you got
I was confused my T's, my QTs and my Chuck T's.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. I mean, in terms of them as people, yes. But they're also...
It's entertaining. They just like, you know, they're like just like squabbling friends, you know?
Yeah, but they I mean, they clearly have like a chemistry there, you know? Which is cool. I like they're really great together. Like they're clearly, you know, it's obvious that they've actually been like good friends for a really long time because they're very natural with each other.
I'd like to see them challenge for the tag team championships. I think that would be
cool.
Set up.
That would be cool. There's a lot of tag teams that they would have to get through first. I gotta say, like. When I was looking at, we were talking about how the Best Friends and Death Triangle seems to be the feud that they're going with now, and I looked it up on the tag team rankings, and neither of those teams is even in the top 5. So that just shows you how deep this division is right now, and which it makes a lot of sense to have them, you know, against each other now that they're kind of on the outside looking in. They need to like reestablish themselves, it seems like. So they would have to, Moxley and Kingston, you know, they have a 0-0 record as a tag team at this point. So they would have to pad their record a little bit on Dark maybe to get that.
Maybe, or they could just win, you know, a battle royale, a big event.
Yeah, they could enter. Yeah, they could have one of those like the casino or the tag team battle royale, like they did recently. I think at Revolution.
Yeah, with Pac and Phoenix.
Right. That would be cool. I would love to see them as a tag team going for the tag titles. Maybe not necessarily winning them, but definitely them as a tag team. Them together is gold for sure. It's the one way that you could kind of put Moxley with somebody else because they're so clearly like bros, you know?
What else is left on this beautiful show?
I think next up was Powerhouse Hobbs versus Christian, which was also really good.
Yeah, this was a solid match. Christian took a nice beating from Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah, Hobbs got to look real good.
Made him look like a powerhouse.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely looked like a star. I was very impressed by it.
Mm-hmm. And Christian kind of continuing his sort of story as the grizzled veteran who kind of guts it out and, you know, uses his veteran instincts and smarts to kind of outsmart people and, you know, find opportunities to scrounge out a victory. So it should be interesting to see where they go with that. Like what's his end game? It seems like eventually they want him in the title picture, in the world title picture. But I'd love to see him in the TNT title picture too. I think that would really elevate that title.
It would be crazy if somehow, even though with all the possibilities now available with the Impact Championship, it would be funny if somehow, even though Christian signed to AEW, he became the Impact Champion once again.
Yeah, that would be pretty. That would be pretty great. He could reunite with Tomko.
Well,
yeah. I don't know if Tomko's in. I think he's like somewhere else other than Impact, but I don't know. I have no idea what he's doing right now.
What's next?
And the last but not least, the Darby Allin and Jungle Boy for the TNT title. Also a fantastic match. A lot of great wrestling on this Dynamite. We were talking about how this would have been a good Dynamite to be there in person. So there was so much good wrestling on this card. Like every match was at least like, you know, other than like QT and Billy Gunn, which like served its own purpose, every other match was really, really good.
Yeah.
This was one of the best wrestling Dynamites they've done in a while.
And Darby Allin's Coffin Drop, just to me at least, becomes cooler every week.
Yeah, it's a great move. It's such a
good finisher.
Yeah, it's so perfect for him as somebody who's so small to have this move where you just put every fucking ounce of your weight and throw it onto your opponent is pretty great. And the places he's willing to do it from. I'll never forget when the first time I went, my first indie wrestling show ever was Defy in Portland. And there was a match between Darby Allin and Shane Strickland, which was a fucking great match. And I remember at one point, like the way that the place is set up, like there's like on one side there's this sort of like elevated bar lounge area with two sets of stairs on either side of it. And at one point Darby Allin just like, you know, they were fighting near the balcony and Darby Allin like sprinted up the stairs and like around like, and before I could like find him, he had leapt over the balcony in one jump and like didn't even set his feet before dropping himself into a coffin drop. And it was so terrifying and super cool. There's just like the lightning quickness with which he ran up the stairs to the balcony, jumped over, fell off onto Shane Strickland and a crowd member.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was insane.
Whoa. So this match also had, even though it was a good wrestling match, they got some outside interference and work from Sting and Luchasaurus, who have a slap fight. And then Sting gets a kick on Luchasaurus a little bit. And then they sort of fight off into the distance, which is a very stupid thing that happens sometimes.
Yeah, they kind of like, they're so obvious about it sometimes, and this was one of those times where they just like lock with each other and then like take each other to the back.
No, let's walk this way.
Yeah, we're leaving now. But no, this is, I mean, both these guys are so athletic, and they're both like, the resilience is such a big part of both guys' characters. And this whole sequence right here that we're watching now with, I can't remember what that hold is called that Jungle Boy does, but he had Darby in it for a while. And
he called the snap.
It's what he did. The indomitable will of Darby. He's going out. No one's ever been able to escape it once it's been locked.
Determination of that young man.
And look at this. He's got the ankles hooked. The snare trap. This is it. The snare trap is
Snare
locked
trap.
in. New champion Darby's going
snare trap. There you go.
No one's ever been able to escape it once it's been locked in.
This whole sequence was really good with Darby like almost losing consciousness, and like, you know, he gets it on him again, and it was really good.
Yeah,
and
Darby's really good at the emotion, the performance,
yeah,
the facial.
for sure. And both these guys are really willing to like put their bodies on the line to make shit look good. Especially Darby. I mean, his tope suicida looks literally like suicidal. And yeah,
it was a badass match. Darby retains once again.
He always finds a way to win, man. He's you know, every one of his matches he seems like, even in this match, he kind of seemed maybe a little bit overmatched. Not so much with this one, but he always, you know, survives and finds a way to win. And one of these times, and I think it's going to be against Miro, I think he's just not going to be able to survive any longer. And we'll see what happens then.
Well, interesting you say it's going to be Miro when they are putting Ethan Page and
that's true,
Scorpio Sky in this position to end Dynamite.
It's definitely, I mean, I feel like at this point, you know, he's beaten Cage, you know, so for him to lose that title, somebody's got to just absolutely tear him limb from limb. It could be Archer.
Oh, Scorpio Sky! Scorpio Sky! And Ethan Page!
I don't think it'll be Page or Scorpio Sky.
Well, they have had
They
Darby
want
Allin
it.
and Sting in their sights. We have seen it. And now Ethan Page with Darby up on the
Are
shoulders.
they is a tag team is my question.
And now Scorpio
Darby.
Sky and Ethan Page.
Why
and
would a
acting
tag
the
team
plan
be
here
going
tonight.
after a
Darby Allin
TNT
can't
champion?
defend themselves. It's the
Yeah.
big man, the Murder Hawk Monster, Lance Archer.
Lance Archer business picks up when he comes around.
Lance Archer,
Oh, a double low blow.
with his whole base turn, has been
Why does
interesting.
Jake the Snake have to come out? Like,
I thought he's just like,
it's a stand there.
he's just standing there. He's just standing there like, what? Wait, what are you doing?
Man, what an explosive broadcast. An amazing broadcast. What a title match.
What a title match.
It was a great title match.
They ended the show on that moment. The TNT Championship is apparently
Yeah, it's really interesting
all over
seeing how they're kind of putting Lance Archer together with Sting putting him together a little bit with Darby by way of they clearly have something planned. They have something in mind for this whole thing. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what it is.
I hope they do actually have something in mind, and it's not just random stuff playing around.
I feel like based on what we've seen in the past from they seem to pretty clearly have something in mind here.
Okay. Any other thoughts for this week, D-Rock?
No, it was a good show. A lot of good wrestling. Looking forward to seeing where all this stuff goes. I'm excited about the faction wars. I think they're going well. I think, people that think there are too many factions, I think those people just don't very much, because it's fun to see, Inner Circle and Pinnacle going at each other. It's fun to see Nightmare Family and Factory going at each other. Heat and Mox and Kingston, and there's all Barber and Team and everything. It all works. It's all benefiting everybody involved. So by what measure are there too many factions? I don't know. I like it.
More factions.
More factions.
More factions. Let's get the other factions from other companies in this company.
Yeah, man. Get everybody. Get the New Day in here.
Get the New World Order.
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Have a Too Sweet war. I have been your host, Steven.
And I have been your non-binary world champion, D-Rock.
And remember, kids, you can tweet us at Vundacast. Give us a like, give us some follow, give us some love. Peace, love, and hugs. And let's see if Rich Swann will be the new AEW World Champion.
Or if Kenny Omega will be the new Impact World Champion. I'll have to wait and see.
Only time will tell.
Indeed.
Later, kids.
Hail Thunder.
Hail Thunder.
Vundacast? Give it up for Vundacast, man. What an adorable name.
You're listening to the Vundacast.
What's up, everybody? This is Jason David Frank, Green Ranger. You're listening to Vundacast.
Subscribe to the Vundacast.